This is going to be about a man named Heywood Broun. We are all dumb. We all do stupid things from time to time. No one is exempt from that. But we don't trumpet our foibles. We keep them to ourselves if we can. We are silent on them, which is why we use that word, dumb. A fool is proud of his stupidities, and he lets others know about them, insists on it. Being stupid is what a fool does best, and they make a habit of it. Most of us are stupid some of the time. A fool is ever ready to be foolish. The trick to this is that the fool does not realize that they are. That is the essence and trademark of a fool. In a book by Joseph Mitchell containing reports on people as various as a bearded lady and a cemetery keeper, I came across one person who listed his favorite writers as being Mark Twain and Heywood Broun. Years ago, I remember a man who reported from sporting events like the Kentucky Derby. His remarks were always a treat, very finely tuned, trenchant, funny, full of whimsy, rather like his buoyant sport coats. His name was Heywood Hale Broun. They called him Woody, the son of the writer so favored by Mitchell's subject. Having been so pleased by the son, I thought I should look the father up and give him a read. I got a book of collected writings from 1908 to 1939, newspaper columns printed chronologically. I think the person who admired the work of Heywood Broun liked him not so much for his sparkling prose, but for his pointed politics. Broun began as a sports reporter, book critic, theater reviewer, then snuck in some light personal pieces, many on that son of his. His editor liked them, asked for more, and there followed several years of what the author called good old Broun. That lasted until he wrote about Sacco and Vanzetti, came right back with a second incendiary piece on them, prompting his editor to say, "That's enough of that," but he did it again and eventually got fired. He was quickly hired by another paper, and he continued to write about serious issues, openly combative. He wrote about the Klan, William Jennings Bryan, Scopes, Mencken, Hitler and the Nazis, Franco and Mussolini, Debs, capital punishment, birth control, child labor laws, poverty, immigration, censorship, the firing of scrub women at Harvard because they asked for a 2-cent per hour raise. He became, in effect, a crusader, became a commentator. I became a commentator because I was conscripted by the march of events, he wrote. Everything that moved was subject to the examination of his pen. There are almost no situations in which I am neutral by the widest stretch of the imagination, he wrote. Also, the most useful and lively proponent of democracy is the person who points out things which are amiss. He was a ruminant. He ground away at an idea, rolled it around, chewed on it thoughtfully until it was ready to be swallowed. He wrote sermons, frequently quoting passages from the Bible. He called for a liberal paper in New York, saying not even one exists. As for liberal voices, according to him, they were at best timid chirps, lacking conviction. He wrote at full squawk. Broun was an optimist. He believed that the underdog could win, would win, must win. He ran for Congress as a socialist, attacking the machine politics of the two-party system. He was, four square, a liberal, which meant, at that time, that he would be called a red, a radical, an anarchist, and a communist. Shortly before he died, he joined the Catholic Church. Not all of his columns were on heavy social issues, but when he lightened up and wrote about Yale professors or the Park Avenue theater goers, it was like watching a big game hunter pick off chipmunks. He spoke in defense of social agitation in general and social agitators in particular. They are the saints and holy men of our religions, he wrote. The great campaign of Heywood Broun was the brotherhood of man, the holy grail of lost causes. Utopia, a standard he steadfastly refused to surrender or compromise.